The Champions League quarterfinal draw is in a few hours' time, so I thought this would be a good time to rank the 8 remaining sides in the competition. So, at number 1, I have Man City. They're the reigning champions, they just trashed Copenhagen 6-2, and they got over the mental hump of not being able to win the Champions League last season. They're definitely still the team to beat, and number 1 on my list. So, at number 2, I have Atletico Madrid. Many people might disagree, but for me, this side are the best team in the competition other than Man City. Now, maybe in the league they're not the best team. They can't win games game in, game out. But in the Champions League KO stages, this team is deadly. They've knocked out the very best versions of Barca, Bayern, Liverpool, and they've just knocked out a very, very strong Inter Milan side. Even 2 seasons ago, they made life really, really tough for the very best version of Man City. I don't know why people are underestimating them so much. They've only lost to the very best sides in the Champions League KO stages before, with exception being Leipzig in the 1920 season. This team will be very, very hard to beat, and number 2 on my list. At number 3, I have PSG. Now, I know this side have a lot of problems. They don't have a lot of goal scorers in the team. They don't have physicality in midfield. They don't have height in midfield. Their defense is extremely shaky. But what they do have is Kylian Mbappe, by far the best player of the 21st century. A nuclear weapon that can completely change any tie. A player who is capable of scoring in games where his team are completely dominated. And that's why they're number 3 on my list. At number 4, I have Arsenal. This will be another controversial pick, but I genuinely think that they'll be hard for any team that they meet. Why? Number 1, they have a very strong defense. Declan Rice shielding a very strong backline, and that's what really matters in this competition. More so than attacking firepower, actually. Atletico Madrid are the perfect example of this. Atletico Madrid have never had the best firepower, yet they've reached 2 Champions League finals. They've knocked out so many amazing sides. And I believe that this will also apply for this Arsenal side. Even though they struggled against Porto, they barely conceded chances over the 2 legs. The only goal that Porto scored was some crazy long-range screamer. On top of that, they have a genuinely good squad. They are top of the Premier League right now. And even though I dislike the Premier League, they are definitely the best league in Europe right now. So this is not exactly a shabby side, and that's why they are my number 4. At number 5, I have Real Madrid. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I genuinely don't think this Real Madrid side are that good. Their defense are extremely shaky, Militao is out, Courtois is out, Tchouaméni is a trash player, and also, they don't have much midfield control. On top of that, they don't even have a center forward right now. I mean, I guess Joselu is a center forward, but who is going to face Joselu? Not having an established center forward is a big problem for any side, and I believe that this will be a big problem for this Madrid side as well. And that's why they're number 5 on my list. At number 6, I have Bayern. Now, I know a lot of people will rate Bayern higher, and frankly speaking, if they had still had Lewandowski, they would probably be top 3 on my list. But that being said, they have the big game trash Harry Kane. And I think that having a center forward who's that pathetic in big games is going to be a big problem for any side in these sort of big games. He applies literally no pressure on the back line. He's going to be dropping deep in the midfield, walking around like an 80-year-old old man, and I think that's going to heavily hurt this Bayern side. And that's why they are number 6 on my list. At number 7, I have Dortmund. Now, I briefly considered putting Barcelona on this list, but Dortmund just have a really solid defense this season, and I think that that's really important in this competition. After conceding 3 goals to PSG in the first game of the competition, they've barely conceded any goals, and I think that's going to be pretty important in this competition. And to be honest, if you have a solid backline, you're capable of pulling off upsets in this competition. Being able to go a long time without conceding is a really important factor in being able to pull off an upset, and that's why Borussia Dortmund are number 7 on my list. And at number 8, I have Barcelona. So why are they number 8 on my list? Number 1, they have a very shaky backline. Their 2 legs versus Napoli felt more like an exhibition game than a Champions League KO game. And that's a big problem in a competition like the Champions League. On top of that, this side don't really have the most experience, and they're haunted by previous defeats in the last few years. And that's why they are number 8 on my list. So do you guys agree with my picks? How would you rank the remaining teams in the competition? Please let me know in the comments below.